King and Queen arrive in Italy for state visit. King Charles and Queen Camilla have arrived in Rome to begin their state visit to Italy, which will see a mix of soft power diplomacy, greeting the crowds and also romance, as the trip coincides with the couple's 20th wedding anniversary. They flew into Ciampino Airport, stepping out into late afternoon sunshine, with Italian government officials and a guard of honor to greet them. The UK's ambassador to Italy, Lord Llewellyn, part of the welcoming party, said this was an historic moment and such visits had an intangible but priceless impact. Against a backdrop of international uncertainty, the visit is part of the UK's post-Brexit reset, in reinforcing links with European allies. This state visit comes at a key moment, said Lord Llewellyn, as we reset our relations with our European partners. There had already been reports of royal fever, and the Italian public valued the King and Queen's enthusiasm for their history, culture and cooking, said Lord Llewellyn, speaking to reporters ahead of the visit. Their love for Italy, and all things Italian resonate deeply here, said the ambassador, predicting a warm welcome ahead of the trip to Rome and the historic city of Ravenna. The state visit was originally intended to include the Vatican, where the king had been due to attend events including a service in the Sistine Chapel, but that had been postponed because of the ill health of Pope Francis. The Pope seems to be recovering, appearing in St. Peter's Square at the weekend, but so far there are no plans for a private meeting, although there has been speculation it might be something that would appeal to both sides if possible. State visits, carried out on behalf of the UK government, are an eclectic mix of elaborate ceremony, charming the crowds, flying the flag for business, trying local food and addressing serious international diplomacy. It will be pizza, pasta and policy. The visit comes at a time of economic and diplomatic upheaval from US President Donald Trump, and accompanying the King is the UK's Foreign Secretary David Lammy. There will be an emphasis on the UK's closer military ties with Italy, which Lord Llewellyn said was vital in a changing Europe, as both our countries stand steadfast in our support for Ukraine. Italy is also the UK's ninth biggest trading partner, and a popular tourist destination, with Rome's historic sites currently overflowing with holidaymakers. There was a nod to Canada too in the ambassador's comments, saying that a trip to Ravenna would reflect that King Charles was also King of Canada, with tributes to be paid to Canadian forces who helped to liberate Italy 80 years ago during the Second World War. The King has had a complicated diplomatic balancing act, as head of state of both the UK and Canada, at a time when Canada has been put under great pressure by the Trump administration. Scottish whiskey producers, worrying about US tariffs, might also welcome a plug for their produce at a food festival in Ravenna, where it will be paired with Parmesan cheese. Over the next 3 days, the royal couple will visit the Colosseum, watch a joint Italian and UK Air Force flypast and learn about Italian slow food. The King will also meet Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and become the first UK monarch to give a speech to both houses of Italy's parliament. The culture-loving royals will also have visits associated with the writers Dante and Lord Byron. The evening of the King and Queen's wedding anniversary on Wednesday will be spent at the Quirinale Palace for a state banquet. It will be a big personal moment for the couple, but these are also glitzy public events, with celebrities and politicians on the guest list, with a menu that showcases the country's cuisine. Ahead of the trip, there was an Italian dinner at the King's Highgrove estate in Gloucestershire, attended by guests including film stars Stanley Tucci and Helen Mirren, and former footballer David Beckham. The state visit is going to be an intensive set of engagements and follows a recent bump in the road for the King's health. He had a brief stay in hospital after suffering side effects from his cancer treatment, but was well enough to return to a series of engagements last week. Ambassador Lord Llewellyn said he was confident the trip by the royals, described as Carlo and Camilla, in the Italian press, would leave a meaningful and broad legacy.